Save your gas. But I'm so grateful that you came out to show support, because that's love in action. And I want to say thank you so much. So in this text here, I want to try to entwine my story into this text, because I see so many similarities with this man here who is paralyzed. Because Jesus had just got finished doing another miracle. And he said he went to Capernaum, and he went into a house. He was in there teaching. And there was a lot of people at this house, so that there was no room to get to the house. But there was this man who was paralyzed. I'm not sure how he became paralyzed or how long he'd been paralyzed. But what I do know is that he wanted to be set free. He wanted something different for his life. And he heard about this man called Jesus. And he could not physically go to this house. But he did what he's always did, was he depended on other people. When you're incarcerated, that's you have to depend on everyone, because there is no independence. You have to depend on the security guards to do everything. Paper, tissue, soap, to let you outside, to turn on the TV. Every aspect of your life is dictated by someone else. This man was in the exact same situation. He could not go out and go to work on his own. He could not probably provide for his family on his own. They didn't have like online jobs back then, so he couldn't work remotely. But he had people in his life who wanted to help him. It says in verse 3, and they come to him, bringing one sick of the palsy, which was born of 4. There was 4 people who came to this man and did something he couldn't do on his own. Now, I knew this man when he went to Jesus, he had one thing in mind: healing. I want physical healing, right? You agree? I want to be healed. So he said, I want to be healed. And these people, they believed him and said, we want to see you in a different situation you're in right now. We want to see you better, because we see your potential. You can do so much more. So we're going to help you get to the place where you can get this help. So they went to the house, and I can't imagine how discouraged they may have been when they seen all these people who probably had similar requests. But they did something different than no one else did. They uncovered the roof and lowered his bed down. Now, really think about that. I don't know if he was a small man or a big man or what, but that's a lot of effort to put someone on top of a roof and lower them to the roof. And if I'm the homeowner, I'm like, what are you doing to my roof? I don't have owner's insurance. Are you going to get this fixed? But when Jesus saw him, the first thing that Jesus did, he knew he was in a situation where he needed help physically, but that wasn't his main concern. That wasn't not his main concern. He could have easily went to him, touched him, or just said, just take up your bed and walk. But he did something else. He said, son, thy sins be forgiven you. This man only wanted physical healing, but Jesus saw a deeper need. He needed spiritual healing. That was most important. What good would it do if he were to be healed physically and then still die in his sins? All my life, when I was incarcerated, I kept saying, God, get me out of here. Lord, please get me out of here. Help me to get out of here. Whatever I got to do, get out of here. But he knew that's that physical change I wanted. But he knew I had a deeper need. I needed my heart to change. I needed my mind to change, my desires to change. So he said, let me work on that first, then we work on the physical part. Because if I were to die in my sins in society, I've been separated from him for all eternity. But what he did was, he brought people into my life, like these 4 people, and they carried me to where Jesus was. And he said, Smiley, your sins are forgiven you. He began to show me the potential that other people saw me, but I never saw myself. He began to show me the gifts, the skills that I never thought of, that I've always thought that other people would do. You know, Mr. Body is one of the most famous people in prison, because we always say somebody need to do this. One day, somebody will anybody. But then God told me, say, you are somebody. I want you to go. All these years I kept saying, God, you get me out of here and I'm going to serve you. One day he spoke to me clear as day. He says, won't you serve me now? Won't you do now what you say you're going to do in society? Show me what you got. I was like, okay. And God began to work in my life and give me so much favor to be able to let men and women know about his goodness. I was given the name Smiley. I had a life without parole sentence. Does that make any sense at all, walking through the prison with the name Smiley? When I was sentenced, the judge told me you're going to be having a life without parole sentence. What that means is you will die in prison. You will never, ever, ever be released. When you turn 40, you will still be in prison. When you turn 70, you will still be in prison. The day of your release will be the day they carry you out in a body bag. That's what life without parole sentence means. So imagine being told that as a teenager, that no matter what good you may do, no matter what changes you may make, you are never good enough to be re-entered to society. You're never fit to rejoin society. But God, he had other plans. But for the first 21 years of my sentence, I lived with that sentence. But yet I was able to do so many things incarcerated. And people said, you have a life sentence. Why do you go to school? You can't use it? Why do you try to learn these trades? You can't use it? I said, but I want my life to have purpose. I want my life to matter.